Welcome back. Welcome back to Rocket Table Talk, the podcast brought out by two Aussies
Yo.
learning about Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, my name's Jasmine. This is Doug. If you don't already know us, too bad. You should. We're pretty cool people.
I wouldn't say we're cool.
Oh, that's a bit rude.
Subpar.
Yeah, that's true.
So on today's episode,
Talking about bards.
Bards.
Didn't work as well as barbarian.
The Jaffers.
The Jaffers. Maybe if you sing it.
I don't know the words.
To
Dave the Bard.
That's horrible.
na, 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 na.
No.
Yeah.
Anyway, bards. Everyone knows them. Everyone's afraid of playing them. They're a bit fun. They're a bit different. We're going to talk about them.
So this is another one of those where I'm going based off what you have done and what you've DM'd. In any of my campaigns that I've DM'd, I've never had a bard. And I've never played as a bard. I have had a few friends play as them.
We've had
A few.
Yeah, Dash played as a bard.
But you played a bard and
I
you
did
have
briefly.
had bards.
And I've got a bard in one of mine.
Yes.
Exactly right. So, how do you imagine a bard? What defines a bard for you in your head?
A bard is like a dandelion character from The Witcher.
Yes.
Just a piece of shit who sings.
Yep.
Like a scoundrel and just has a lute.
Always a boy?
Doesn't have to be a boy. But it's just like I think of like Esmeralda from Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Right.
I think that's her name.
Yes.
The Spanish lady. Like just someone who's very gleeful and very playful, and those are the same word pretty much.
Yeah.
And they always just have a musical instrument that's, I wouldn't say it's always used to enhance their allies, but it's definitely the major characteristic is they're playing an instrument.
Yeah. So,
Is that how you would see?
Kind of how I imagine it. So bards I see as tricksters more than just musical people.
Really?
Because they've got such high charisma. Yes, music is a very important part of who they are as bards, but when I've ever played with bards or seen bards or so on and so forth, they're always very good with their words. They're very witty. They normally are the ones that they're talking their way out of a situation instead of fighting. So you've got a barbarian or a fighter who just when in a difficult situation wants to fight their way out of it. A bard wants to either seduce their way out of it or talk so much crap that the NPC or the villain or whoever it is starts to even believe that story.
Okay.
Is how I picture a bard.
So like a professional liar.
Yes.
Okay.
That's how I picture it. In the player's handbook, there's a small snippet that says, bards use magic through words and song to inspire their comrades during combat instead of fighting. Spells lean towards illusions and trickery rather than destructive attacking spells. But if a bard's forced to attack, they can defend themselves with some strong melee attacks. So, talking about words and music.
So I always assumed that bards used like spells as their damaging abilities. I didn't know that they were a melee class that just had like the bonuses of making fun of other people.
Yes. So bards tend to have been built to be support roles. So with bardic inspiration being one of their big aspects is that they can they can inspire the party to do better. So you basically allow, depending on the levels, you can
Give them extra dice, isn't that what it
give
is?
them extra dice that they can use for most things. So ability checks, attack rolls, or saving throws.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Which is pretty cool. It starts off kind of small, but it gets bigger as the class goes on as well, which is pretty cool. So I see them more as standing behind the lines to help support and basically tank up anyone else who is in the battle.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
When forced to attack, they can, but yeah, that's kind of how I imagine a bard.
Well, okay. So would you have it if you were role playing a bard? Is there like, do you think you could role play it as like you're a country music person?
Oh,
or
absolutely.
Like, if you were role playing, would you make it that they're a pop singer, or would you make them that they sing old timey hymns, or would you say they do heavy metal? Is that screamo is like what they do, or would you do that they're a mixture?
The
in
would be pretty funny.
Oh,
Bardic
inspiration.
Yes. I'm going to inspire you with a song about my first romance.
Yeah. So would you use like different sorts of music to like push forward
So for
different
me, no.
Okay.
Because I can't sing or play an instrument to save my fucking life. So I would play it myself as either limericks or like funny one-liners.
Yeah.
Another main spell that if a bard doesn't have this in their repertoire, they really should consider whether or not they are a bard or not. But vicious mockery, you've come across it a few times.
Yeah, we have had a player of ours that used to use that every
so
chance.
Funny.
Yeah.
Vicious mockery is one of the best spells that I think D&D has to offer.
We did talk about it in our first episode of your mum's your dad
Your
being
mum's
the
your dad.
best one line thing that you
that's
could say.
an insult, and you can cause physical harm to someone by using hurtful words. So I think as a bard, yes, they are music, but like the main line is the bard is a master of song, speech, and the magic it contains.
Okay.
So it's not just a one. Like you could go into both directions.
Yeah.
But you can lean into like one heavier than the other.
Another point that we've got down is that would you or could you play a bard as being a band? So like your bard character is a single person in the band, let's say like the keyboardist or something. And whenever they're trying to go into combat, they miraculously summon the remaining members of their band.
Oh, okay.
It's like not like illusions, but it's just like they're just in bushes, just like scattered everywhere.
So there are like illusion spells that you can have that can summon entities and stuff. So I know one of the druid spells is, I think it's just summon animals or summon.
Yeah.
And it's a fae that is disguised as a creature that has the creature's abilities. And you could essentially say that you lived in the land of the fae.
Yeah.
And that they are your friends, and they were like, we'll come to you whenever you need. And they could potentially be the lead singer or the lead guitarist.
I reckon that'd be so funny.
It would be fun, but you'd have to be at a higher level to be able to summon that many creatures at once.
Okay.
Is the harder thing.
Right.
But you could probably do that like later on. My favorite one that I've like been wanting to do for a long time, but haven't found a group of people to do it, is do a one shot. And I think everyone at one point who's considered playing a bard is get a group of just bards and tour like the realms, fighting crime, but also like wooing audiences. So you're like a boy band that fights crime. But the thing is, bards aren't strong. Like we both agree that they're like low health.
Yeah. Low
fighters.
strength. Yeah. Using charisma. Yeah.
So you're not only a boy band, but you're fighting crime, but you're going to take, if you get a hit, you're going down.
But then everyone else can heal you, because isn't the whole thing, because you're saying this, that they're a support class, so they do have healing capabilities to them. And isn't it at level 2 or 1 or something, they have a song that they can play which heals their allies?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's Song of the Rest.
Yeah.
Which when taking a short rest, it essentially kind of works like a long rest. You just get additional dice back and
nice.
all that kind of stuff. But I mean, if you all reward each other bardic inspiration and at the beginning, you could run with it, which would be pretty fun.
Actually, that would be pretty cool. I think for that, like, you would have to write, like, from a DM's perspective, you would have to write the story to be
accommodating.
They're like a traveling band, and they go from town to town, but it's like every town has that one problem, and that's like the side quest would be solving the lady lost her cat, and then the cat's actually a demigod, and like that sort of stuff.
Yeah, no, I like that.
So like they're at the end, and it's like the final boss. They all just have to play the lute to save their lives, and all just like
sweet guitar solo.
But you find out that like one of your party members isn't proficient with the lute. Like his whole thing was like the flute or something, and he's like,
I can't. It's like I can't do this.
Oh my god!
And you're like, I reward your bardic inspiration. You can do it.
My
friend.
fingers work now.
Yeah. So that's something that I've always wanted to like.
That would be really funny, actually.
I've always wanted to do, but it's hard to get everyone to agree to play bards. And then you'd have to have a DM that's going to be ready to deal with that as well.
That sort of shit.
Like, that's a handful. One bard's already enough for me.
Yeah.
Let alone a party of them.
So like we started talking about this in the Barbarian episode of like why you would want to play, or like the key points that would interest people into playing a Barbarian. What would be the key points for a bard to play it? So like you're saying that it's hard to get lots of people to agree to play a bard.
I think bards intimidate people who know D&D. purely from the fact that either the musical instrument freaks them out a little bit,
Right.
but you don't actually need to know how to play an instrument. But the idea is that you can say to the party, I sing you a sweet melody about this. It just depends on the group. So I remember when we played with our friends,
Yeah.
our DM made our bard player
Sing
sing.
and stuff. Yeah.
And so that's funny. But if I was put on the spot like that, I wouldn't be able to succeed on that
Right.
attack because
So you're
I
saying
couldn't
that
do that on the spot.
the physical role playing aspect of being a bard
Can sometimes
is
be a
what's
bit
intimidating.
harder. Yes,
Okay.
it can be a little intimidating. Also thinking of like one-liners on the spot personally.
Yeah.
If there's no pressure, I can do that fine.
Yeah.
But in a situation where you got 6 or 7 people depending on you, you're like, "Ugh." So it can be a little intimidating, as well as it's not much of a fighting class.
Okay.
And when you think of D&D, you think about fighting
True.
and throwing spells.
Like
and being
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
It's not Dungeons and sit back and wait for the rest of the party to kill the dragon.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think in that aspect, bards can be a little... They can come across as less fun.
So you're saying that bard is a very unpopular class? Is that what you're saying?
I would think so.
Yeah.
I mean, most people I've spoken to have a bard in their party, but I
Right.
don't know how many of those people would say that they want to play as a bard.
Okay. You think they filled the role more than they chose to be a bard?
Yes.
Like, obviously, there's outliers in that situation that actually prefer to play
There's
supporting
some
classes
people
and
that
stuff.
would love to play bards.
Yeah.
Like if I was more confident in it, I think I'd love to play as a bard because they've got some really cool abilities, and some of the bard colleges are really interesting. Like I was reading up on College of Whispers.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking cool.
But like, so would you, if you had to play a bard and you were multiclassing, what would be the second class that you multiclass into? Would you go complete opposite of be like paladin, super tanky, oathbreaker, bard?
Maybe just to beat that trope aspect of it, but I'd probably multi-class it with like a rogue.
Oh, okay.
Or
so really lean towards like getting out of the danger.
Stealthy, because bards also have normally their second choice is dexterity.
Yeah.
Because even though their charisma is high, they need to be able to get out of a situation if it backfires.
Yeah, right.
So if you're leaning into multi-classing, I'd lean into something that has that dex, which would be a rogue.
Okay.
Just to play around with both of them.
Yeah, right.
They have similar weapon choices, so small, short swords, rapiers, that kind of stuff is very rogue-esque as well as bard. So at least then when you cross over, that you're not struggling. Whereas if you were to multi-class with paladin, that's a whole... I don't think bards have proficiencies in heavy armor, whereas that's something that you need for a paladin. Or you don't have to, but it is something that comes into play.
Because you said previously in other episodes that you actually have a person in your party who's a barbarian. Bardbarian, sorry.
A bardbarian.
Yeah.
He wants to kill his character off because he wants to rewrite it up as a bardbarian.
Yeah, right.
Because essentially he is a bardbarian right now, but he's not been able to utilize the bard skills because he's actually not written as a bard.
Oh,
he does stupid shit. He does dumb. We're still talking about Nert Turkleton. Nert Turkleton's a gnome.
The hero of Rocket Tabletop, apparently.
Yeah.
That silence of when you
really
had to drink at the same time as me.
I saw you pick up your glass. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm thirsty.
I'm thirsty too. Glug glug.
The fun thing though with bards is that they can get really OP really quickly.
OP? What's OP?
Overpowered.
Oh, you actually know what it means.
Yeah,
Nice.
of course I do. I play games.
You're a true gamer.
Got games.
Got game.
When you consider Jack of all trades, which starts at second level, it really breaks the game.
Which is
really, really cool.
Was it a trait of the...
It's just a trait.
Yeah.
So at second level, you can use magic to help your companions during Song of the Rest. Add half your proficiency rounded down to any ability check you make with your skills.
Yeah, right.
So essentially, all your ability skills have half your proficiency added to it all the time.
So you would use that primarily for checks for everything.
It's everything.
So you could do everything.
Yes.
You could be the jack of all trades.
Yep. Yeah, you got it there. So that's really, really cool, especially when you get higher levels. So when you hit level 10, what's your so you've got +4. So you add +2 proficiency to everything.
Yeah.
And then you've also got your proficiency thing was a +4. So in our party we have Saphira, and she's our bard. Her what is it? I think it's her stealth. Oh, it's not her stealth. One of hers is +10.
Wow.
like it's really broken because her charisma was was 19. Like she rolled incredibly well, and then
As in the base stat is 19.
yeah, 6, 12, 18, and then it was like +1 to charisma or something. Like she rolled 3 6s.
Yeah.
And so she put it all into charisma, and then you get to add like the proficiency bonuses on top of that because she was proficient in something.
But don't you only get to have +5 as maximum? That's the rule in the game. So you're saying that she has +10.
So +10 to the skill.
So
+5 on its own, and then adding your proficiency bonus on top of it.
it only goes to +5.
No, like
It's
the
You can't go
on the
higher than
character sheet,
+5.
Not the ability skills, the skills.
Yep. It can only get to +5.
No, it doesn't. 100% it's not. The abilities can only go to +5 because you can only top them at 20, but the skills, the separate area, can absolutely go above that. 100%. 110%. I bet you bottom dollar we'll pull it out in the book.
We'll do it afterwards, and we'll make a
I'm 100%
rebate
right
on it.
because my druid was like +7 for something.
Afterwards, like with extra modifiers.
Yeah,
I've
I'm saying,
confused
when
myself.
You add your proficiencies to things. You can't top it at 5 because your
No.
proficiency bonus.
I've confused myself.
Yes, you have.
And I thought she meant that she had 20 as her stat,
And then
you
stuff
had
to-
extra. And I said, no, you can only get
that's how I was
+5.
like, stealth and
Gotcha.
Yep.
I was like, what part of the fucking character sheet are you fucking reading
That's why I
where
said
you can
skills.
get 20? And I was like, motherfucker,
You're
it
like,
goes to
no.
+5.
That's why I kept saying skills and not abilities.
You say words, but I don't listen to you.
No, I noticed that. That's very common.
Oh boy, that's embarrassing.
So bards are.
That was like a 2-minute
Yeah,
lapse
you
in
really were
knowledge.
like, no.
I'm fucking right. It's like, get on my level.
No. It's normally how we have discussions. So
Yeah.
you're like, I'm 100% right. And then I prove you wrong. And you're like, well, this is a one-off occasion.
This has never happened to me
I was like,
before.
that's a lie.
I've never been wrong. I'm always right.
Now, if you're a bard and you're scared about playing a bard, you can always base your bard off another character. Bard.
Say bard 5 more times.
Bard. Bard. Was that 5?
I don't know. I wasn't counting. I'm drinking
I think
my
I got
water,
5.
so don't drink your water.
Maybe I will. So there's a lot of famous bards in pop culture because most of the time they're seen as the comedy relief. Would you agree?
Yeah, like if we're doing the role-playing aspect of it, definitely. They're definitely the character that sings to inspire and takes the piss out of every situation.
So, like, there's a list as long as our leg. We also put it on our Twitter a few weeks ago about giving us some inspiration for bards, and we got some really cool responses.
We'll just rattle off with a few that we thought. Yeah.
So, Kubo from
Kubo and 2 strings.
2 Strings. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
That sweet banjo.
The
Is it
banjo?
I
No,
think
it's
What
a
is
banjo.
Banjo.
You
Banjo
fuck-
Kazooie.
Are you educated?
Maybe not. Maybe not as much as I thought.
Isn't it the mandolin with the 2 strings?
Maybe.
I will Google it
I
afterwards.
don't know. One of them.
It's some sort of 2-stringed instrument, hence the name 2 strings.
Yes. So going off our last week's episode about
Disney characters.
Disney characters.
Jigglypuff. You're right. Jigglypuff is a
I was
bard.
trying to get into that. But no, like she is though. I mean, I see her as a girl. But Jigglypuffs can be boys as well.
Look,
but
when we read, well, I'm thinking of Jigglypuff from the anime, and in
yes, and they
the
call
anime.
it a her.
Yeah, it is a her. In
Yes.
that aspect, it is
Yes.
definitely her. The one that has the marker and draws
Yes.
it when he gets super
100%.
pissed off.
Which is funny.
Yeah, so we're just going to refer to it as a she.
100%.
But like reading that blew my mind. I was like, oh my God, Pokemon have bards?
Yeah.
Like that, who fucking knew?
Well, yeah, because like
Oh, there's also that Pokemon that's the bird, and it's the fucking head is a clef. It's in one of the new regions.
Oh,
Chatot.
Chatot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's obviously got to be a bard.
yeah, that's got to be a bard too because it's a musical instrument. But I mean, most birds are musically.
Nuh-uh, not the one that eats
Orientated.
people, like the fish.
Which one eats? Oh,
In
for
Sword
new
and
one.
Shield, yeah. The one that eats Pikachu is
But
its
I
final
think-
evolution.
Jigglypuff absolutely would be.
That-
Song of
yeah.
Rest, like puts people to sleep, but then he's a bit of a cunt and draws all over your face afterwards. They all pass the fuck out. I'm like, it's not even clever words. I'd always wake up and they're like, no, why would that happen?
Yeah.
You're like, motherfuckers, you fell asleep like 40 times.
I liked how your Jigglypuff is in Hogwarts. No, why would that happen?
Oh my god.
Expelliarmus!
You're a bit of a cunt.
Imagine Jigglypuff in the Harry Potter world. She'd die.
It just did.
Just walk in.
Voldemort would do
Abracadabra.
Draw on your face when you sleep. Voldemort would be like, nah, you know what? Fuck you.
All she does, like, she walks up to Voldemort and just like draws on a nose and just walks away. Like, I'm done. Ultimate masterpiece right here. And eyebrows. Just like eyebrows, a nose.
No, that'd be great.
That would be
She'd
awesome.
absolutely be dead.
Oh yeah.
Like
2
dead
seconds
a
in.
heartbeat.
So yeah, Anna from Frozen. What
Anna
you were
from
trying to
Frozen.
say?
And the reason that I'm saying this, and we talked about it, where when you can't think of a Disney characters class, you just chuck them in Bard because you're like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, we talked about that last week when we were trying to. We're saying that every Disney character
Every
is pretty
Disney
much a Bard.
could be considered Bard,
Yeah.
yes. But in this instance, she is, because she inspires she inspires Elsa to come away from the castle and help fight for Arendelle and all that fun stuff. And, you know, she helped Olaf and Kristoff and the whole lot, even though she was like the lead of the movie, and it makes me really mad.
Rattle off more characters from Frozen.
I love it so much.
There's only
It's
6.
one of my favorite movies. I could name a few more if you wanted to.
We'll do a
Fucking
special
big, yeah.
off-topic episode where we talk about Frozen.
It's really hard to think of a lot of female bards, at least.
Well, okay, so
like,
I
right
put
now.
down Rapunzel. Like,
Yes.
Rapunzel from Tangled.
Mhm.
And I reckon, and we had a big argument the other week when we were talking about this, where I said that she was and you said she wasn't.
Yes.
And, like, key points as to why she is. She fucking sings and her hair heals people. What are the 2 things that bards do?
Yes,
They
I know
sing
that, but,
and they
like,
heal
all
people.
the Disney characters sing.
Does Snow White heal people?
Yes.
No, she just lives with 7 little men. Vertically challenged, not dwarves. We can't call them that anymore.
Vertically challenged.
What about fucking Belle? She doesn't fucking heal people. She talks to teacups. She's on LSD half the movie.
That is true.
It's like,
yeah,
yeah, she's tripping major ball
oh my
sack.
god, Beast. And he's like, no, I have a name. She's like, Beast.
All it actually is like one of those like rugged bears on the floor. But she's like, Beast, I love you. And like the rose that she's talking about is just a clock that just like has a rose on it.
And her like I don't know, friend from next door who's concerned about her comes out. She's like, you've transformed back into a human. And he's like, bitch.
And it's like
no.
Gaston is like the guy who actually lives, like he's just the maintenance man.
Yeah.
Like he just fixing electricity. He's like, oh, this bitch is whack. Like she's so,
Tripping balls.
yeah, it's just drooling on herself.
Super off track, but I love that. That's so funny.
Anyway, so I definitely think that Rapunzel counts as being a
Fine.
as a bard.
I guess.
I wouldn't see her as anything else as like if she was a different class, but I think we talked about that a little bit last week. So a few other ones. Donkey from Shrek.
Okay, so
The
this is my favorite.
ultimate bard.
Ultimate bard. He seduces
Successfully.
his way out of a situation, but he successfully seduced a dragon.
He got the dragon puss.
He fucking did.
Not
He
even
got
that,
it
he knocked
hard-
her up.
Knocked it up. He was so scared in the situation. He was like, I don't know what to do. I'm going to seduce a dragon.
Like, and you're
Oh,
a lady dragon.
girl dragon. But of course you are.
Love her.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
I'm not a smoker.
It's fucking funny, but he's absolutely a bard because he does that final musical number right at the end as well. Like,
He also inspires Shrek to be better.
yes,
Like-
he does, and he like talks him up and
And
stuff.
he's the comedy relief. We actually had someone in the Twitter comments suggest that I didn't actually write
in
down their
Boots.
name, but Puss in Boots as a
Yes.
bard. And actually it was at Bob_Francis was the person.
Yeah.
So shout out to you at
Yes.
Bob_Francis.
College
But-
of Swords.
Swords. But
Yeah.
I had the counterpoint, or we had the counterpoint that actually would be Puss in Boots would be a rogue.
Just a simple rogue, like
a swashbuckler.
you could classify all of them because there's like so many different colleges
Yeah.
and subclasses in every class that you can play that you can really force them into anything. But I think if you were to put Shrek, Donkey, Fiona, and Puss in Boots in a party together, Puss in Boots would be the rogue.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And Donkey would be the bard.
Yep.
Shrek would be the bad barbarian that can't roll very well.
I'm an ogre.
And I would have like Princess Fiona as
What?
a classic
What, huh?
fighter.
I'd say fighter. She beat the shit out
Yeah,
of those dudes.
Absolutely. I would do
Yeah.
like a fighter and then.
Or a monk.
Yeah.
She could be a
does
monk.
all
She's
like,
crazy.
"Ha-ha!"
Yeah, she's crazy.
Especially when she beats up the.
Bitch,
what
you
is it,
guessed
Robin
it.
Hood.
Yeah.
Yeah, so funny.
That's a great scene.
It's really good. Another classic bard in everything that he plays in is Jack Black.
Yes.
Jack Black himself
The embodiment of a
Tenacious
bard.
D.
Yep.
is a bard. sings his way through everything, has great one-liners, super talented.
But he's more of the bard in the sense, like, yes, he does have his musical talents that he uses in movies, but he's more the bard that uses vicious mockery to get out of situations.
Yes, 100%.
Like, he'll be in, like, captured by the bad guys, and he'll say some one-liner, and they're like, what? Huh? What? Okay, you're free to go. It's like, yeah, okay, that's kind of unrealistic, but that's his whole character. Like, his personification is being a bard that can get out of shitty situations by just talking shit.
He can talk his way out of any situation. Absolutely. Gabrielle from Xena Warrior Princess. I am not as familiar about Gabrielle.
So she would be just from like the TV show, she would be a cross between a bard because she inspires Xena and like pushes her to do good, even though she already does good. But she would also be like a fighter as well, but like very early levels of fighter. And then obviously Xena is the barbarian that we talked about last week. But she's definitely there to assist her and to make her a better person. And we've got a few more, like, so Star-Lord, like, has to be.
Yep, has to be.
Talks a lot of shit,
and
dances and everything.
One-liners.
Joker.
He'd be an evil bard.
Yeah.
But he's still a bard.
So Joker from Batman, we thought about this, and in the same sense of if you were to say that Jack Black was a bard, it's like he uses a little bit less of the musical stuff and a little bit more of the vicious mockery side and like the one-liners and the zingers. And that's just like the evil aspect is instead of inspiring, he's doing it to like taunt and his enemies.
Like I was saying, the College of Whispers, so they appear like any other bards, sharing news, singing songs, blah, blah, blah. These bards use their knowledge and magic to uncover secrets and turn them against others through extortion and threats. Yeah. Which is a classic Joker feat. Yeah. So 100% he would be considered
but like that's like
bard as well.
That's like out of the realm of like your traditional bard though. Like like you're really pulling at strings to get that to be a bard, but at the same time
it's still a bard.
It's still a bard.
Yeah,
like
it's still a bard. 100%.
Like we said, it doesn't
normally good, but Joker's still a bad guy, but doesn't mean that he's not doesn't have his own class in D&D.
Exactly. So we do have a few more like
Miguel and Tulio. Best.
From Road to El Dorado, for anyone who hasn't seen it.
Is one of the best movies. Not super underrated, just not appreciated as much as it should be.
Definitely for its time, it was underrated. Now, like now it's resurfacing. Like
it's a banger.
Yeah, it's kind of like Princess Bride. Like it was a flop when it first came out, and now there's like the cult following to it.
So I think
Miguel
it's
and Tulio, powerful and mighty gods.
Is it Tulio that's the bard? No, Tulio's the rogue.
Yeah.
Miguel's the
Miguel's the
with that like meme, so the gif that goes around of him like aggressively playing.
Yeah, that's
100% what would happen if a rogue and a bard like went on an adventure on their own.
Oh yeah.
Like shit would happen, gods are faked, like explosions, volcanoes erupting.
See, like that movie is just a one-shot campaign.
It's a one-shot
with
campaign
two
with two
characters.
players.
Yeah, that's literally what it is. Technically 3 if you have the girl who...
The girl that you pick up on the way, but I think she's just an NPC.
She's just an NPC.
Yeah. 100%.
And then the one... So we've got a few more. We're going to rattle off with the Twitter ones in a second. But Hamtaro was one that I thought of this morning.
Yep.
Because of that classic cartoon character of... he sings his song, Hamtaro Time.
Yep.
And not only that, but... he inspires his friends to go on wacky adventures.
He does.
If you don't know what Hamtaro is, I
Hamtaro's
highly
great.
recommend that you go onto the internet and type in Hamtaro theme song and just listen to what that majesty is. That's so funny.
Yeah! Bangers drops. It's a great song.
Is that Hamtaro Time?
Isn't that Hamtaro? Oh, no, you were thinking from the anime.
Yeah.
I was thinking that, like, the song that's actually anything done by Hamtaro,
No.
but it's always animated with Hamtaro characters.
No, I was doing, the anime.
Oh, I can't
It's
remember.
Hamtaro time. Hamtaro. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. Yeah, some bullshit like that. All right, so we'll go with some of the Twitter guys that gave some suggestions.
Interesting one. So I'm not as knowledgeable as Overwatch, but
That's
Lucio
Overwatch.
as Overwatch? On Overwatch.
Yeah.
What's the word?
I'm not. You don't know Overwatch that well.
Do you want to start it?
I'm just gonna jump out for a second. But you talk about Lucio.
I don't know how to. So big shout out to Calliope.
Look, we're going to butcher all your Twitter handles here today, but what are we looking at here? At X Calliope for the Lucio suggestion. So Lucio is a support character in Overwatch, and he's actually a DJ from Rio de Janeiro or like Venezuela, is like some Brazilian country, and he stole sci-fi tech, which was like the rollerblades and the speaker gun that he uses. I don't know what they're actually called. And he uses his DJ mixes to either heal his allies or assist his allies. And that's essentially his whole claim to fame.
Yeah.
But like his whole appeal is he does area of effect heals and bonuses rather than just like a single person heal. That's why he's so talented. But he's got good music. He's some DJ Frog. We got Goblin King, David Bowie, was suggested by at Spread the Whimsy. Never seen Labyrinth.
So I'm the same, and everyone's going to judge
Dark
us pretty
Crystal.
harsh. What did you say? Labyrinth.
It is Labyrinth?
Is right.
Okay,
Dark Crystal's some of the same people, but it's not David Bowie.
Yeah, not a clue if it was either of those.
Sure.
Yeah. So
I'm just going to shout them out. Coco, the Disney or Pixar Coco at Irish Dream 86.
Yep.
I believe
I've never seen that movie.
Seen it. I see you for someone who loves Day of the Dead things. It is such a fantastic movie. Beautiful classic bard. He just wants to get up on stage. He thinks he might be related to a famous singer. Who's died, and he goes to
and he inspires his ancestors. Is that why he's a bard?
Basically, so he actually finds his spoiler. He finds his real granddad,
and he's a famous
forgotten. And
I don't want to watch
inspires
it.
him to speak up about what happened and stuff. And it's beautiful ending. I'm not going to spoil it for you because you still haven't seen it, and you need to because it's amazing. But I would put him as bard, but loosely.
Okay.
Because he goes on such an adventure. Like he inspires others and his ancestors to do the right thing and all that kind of stuff. And there's the singing and that kind of stuff, which is gorgeous, but it's very loose.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's definitely on my to watch list. I think we were going to talk about Coco last week, but I think we stopped because I haven't seen it. Another suggestion by at OK Ocelot was Cass from Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is the bird dude.
Yeah.
See, I haven't played up to that point.
You didn't finish it, no. So
he's
around a lot in the
bird place.
God, I think so.
Yeah.
Yes, because he's a bird person. Yes, and he just tells stories and histories about like the legends and of I was gonna say Ocarina. Do you remember the area, the Breath of the Wild, what it was called?
It's the Wild, isn't it?
It's not called the Wild.
Oh, Breath of.
No.
Oh.
But sure.
Zelda Land?
Zelda Land, yes.
Hyrule.
Hyrule, thank you.
I was like, it's
like,
Hyrule.
Has a name, but I was like, I can't remember it. Of Hyrule. So he tells histories and stories of that through song.
Okay. Does he inspire Link to do anything, or is he just the singing aspect of it?
No, he's just a singing aspect, which, again, there's a bit at the beginning of the Player's Handbook, Bards, where they talk a bit about how they're not every singer and storyteller in a bar or on the side of the road is a bard.
Yeah.
Because they do more than just that.
Yeah.
So yes, I would classify, if I was to put him in a class, he would be classed as a bard. But if he was in a D&D world, I would put him as just an NPC.
Okay. Well, as a counterpoint to that, you're saying that not everyone who just tells stories is a bard. We had a suggestion from at big_Frank_CEO, Shakespeare.
Yeah.
And was like, yeah, that makes total sense if you're taking a real life person and put him into a class, like we've done with Jack Black.
Yes, 100%.
Like if the rumors are true and he didn't actually write all those stories himself, he's everyone always says that Shakespeare didn't write the stuff that like all the plays. They're saying that he stole it from like a minority and took the name for it.
Like a real life Gilderoy Lockhart situation.
Yeah, except Gilderoy Lockhart is based off Shakespeare.
I didn't fucking know that.
Yeah. So like,
oh my God.
Yes, like the stories that he tells and like he has his musical aspects, but it's like to inspire people to connect the dots. And I didn't really study Shakespeare because I'm not good with the words. I did all the
plays and the words and the singing and the la.
I did good with the technologies and the lifting of the weights, but never with the words.
Loved Shakespeare. Didn't understand half of it half the time, but I still enjoyed it.
There's like big words in there that like sometimes are backwards.
Didn't know where I was going to land. Caught it up at the end and finished it off.
And then you just watch the movie and they're just like, oh, cool, that's the ending.
I get it.
Yeah,
cool.
Romeo and Juliet, classic.
Another one that I really like by I'm not going to be able to do that one.
At Eridididus, it's like Adidas, but Adidas.
Sure.
Yeah.
Adidas. Tyrion Lannister.
Yeah, look, that's
Talks his way out of everything.
yes.
Good with coins. Doesn't really sing a lot.
Midget.
Uses
Not vertically
understands-
challenged.
Vertically challenged. Understands that because of his vertically challengedness, that words are his strongest ally, and he uses that. He talked his way up. I mean, spoilers if you haven't seen the last season, you're not missing that much out.
I haven't seen the last season.
Well, he ends up being the I was going to say vice president, but that's not what they call it.
The Hand?
The Hand of the King.
Yeah.
He ends up being the Hand of the King to Brendan Stark.
Brandon?
Brandon. What did I say?
Brendan.
Brandon.
That's very Aussie.
Brandon Stark.
Brendan!
So from someone who was
Come here,
just
Brendan!
sleeping in brothels, I mean, he didn't stop doing that, but sleeping in brothels as a full-time job to Hand of the King, he did pretty fucking well.
Yeah, but he was Hand of the King to the little...
Don't say Joffrey because he never was.
Yeah, he was.
No,
he had the pin.
was acting, but he was never...
Acting
No,
counts as
He
it.
was Hand to the King, Queen for Daenerys.
as well.
Yep, but that's it.
And to
He was
Old
the,
Mate.
No, he was,
I was the Master
what
of
was he?
Coin.
Master of Coin.
That's it. Yeah,
He was
yeah.
never the Hand of the King.
I thought he had the pin, and then I forgot.
There's
and
a few others in there, a lot of double ups.
these are two that I can relate to because I actually know these ones. And that's why I put them in this list. So this one is done by @Shadow Skiptori, the music maestro from Batman Brave and the Bold. It's a single episode of Neil Patrick Harris goes in and he does musical numbers.
Yes.
I've talked about this in the past with you.
It's with the Birds of Prey. Are
They
they in that episode?
not that episode, but there's like another episode of it. But yeah, that one I completely forgot about the music maestro, and then I was thinking about those episodes, and I was like, man, I fucking loved Batman Brave and the Bold, and I've completely forgot about this. I feel upset at myself about
But
it.
you're like, I need to go and rewatch them.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm just waiting for it to come on. And then the last one.
Shadows, what, Scriptori?
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that.
Something.
This is one that at @Bashy_designs put out. It's The Court Jester. And this is actually a classic movie done in, I think it was the 70s or 60s. This isn't a movie that you've seen, but it's actually my dad's favorite film. We own like 16 copies of it on DVD
because
and
he loves
video.
it that much.
Yeah. And I'm going to get you to watch that. And if you haven't watched it and you're listening to this, I highly recommend watching The Court Jester. It's super old. It's really bad, but at the same time, it's good at the same time.
Like it didn't age well, but that's part of the gimmick.
Oh, it didn't age well to begin with. Like, it wasn't a great film.
Wasn't good then,
No.
isn't good now, but still worth watching.
Yeah, it's like, and like he is just like, he's pretending to be someone he's not, but he's trying his best because he's just a musical guy. And he just pulls it off somehow, and then like he gets enchanted by like the witch, and then he's like the master swordsman.
Oh my god!
And
so just like a bard at the beginning that didn't want anything has ended up being.
Yes,
that's cool.
And it's just like really funny, and I highly recommend watching it to anyone. So that's why I put it in there.
Huge shout out to other people. We'll chuck it on.
We'll do it at the to the end. We'll just go talk a bit about the class features of a bard real quickly and the different colleges.
There's bunches of stuff. So, like we talked earlier, bards aren't super strong. We all kind of know that if you've played a bard before or know someone in the party that has a bard, they normally have a lower HP because their hit dice are a 1d8. So
that's super low. Considering that I play tanky characters, that's ridiculous.
Yes.
Like I could
kill
that person in one.
I think monks are lower though. I have a really funny feeling they're a 1d6.
Yeah, but monks have like the highest dex, so they can just dodge everything.
Yes.
Plus using their key to dodge as well.
Yeah. So with proficiencies, they only have light armor. So you know how we were talking about multiclassing with something like Paladin?
Yeah.
They don't have the armor to withstand that. Probably though, when you multiclass with a barbarian, you get the proficiency of heavy armor.
Yeah.
But then part of what's been a bard is the dex and stuff. So that comes into it. Weapons, you have simple weapons, hand crossbows, long swords, rapiers, and short swords. Again, you have very melee weapons, so nothing too big and fancy.
So primarily you get low health, you get low defenses, you have basic weapon knowledge, you have a musical weapon, musical instrument that you start with, and that you're proficient in as well as other musical instruments as well.
So saving throws, we talked earlier, dex and charisma.
Yep.
So they need the dex because they need to get out of the situation speedy.
Yeah.
Because yes, they can talk their way out of a situation, but if you roll low and it backfires, you need to be able to get out of there quick.
Yes.
So that is something that comes into play as well. Another cool thing about Bards is you can choose your 3 skills. Instead of having a list of ones that you can choose from and choosing only 2, you can choose any 3.
Well, I guess that
which
goes
is really cool.
that goes into Jack of all trades when you unlock it. It's like it doesn't matter how you play it. You'll still be able to be proficient, and then additional to the ones that you
Proficiencies.
aren't proficient
Yes,
because you
don't
get
have
that
a
as
lot
well.
yes, because you're quite low, you need to be able to like get your way out of situations.
So it's like a trade-off for
Trade-off for health and like big bulky weapons is that you're pretty smart
in everything. So
yes.
would you say that, like, before we go on a bit further down, would you say that helps with like saying what a bard, or would a bard would be an easier class to play?
I would say a bard is a good starting role, purely for the fact that you don't have to worry too much about really complicated spells that are in like wizards, sorcerer, warlocks.
Yes.
But you don't also have to stress about being super strong and being at the front of the line because you don't know how to use, big fancy weapons or divine smite and all that kind of stuff.
I'm pretty sure
So
they
you
also
can
have a
stay.
spell that makes them attack other people, right?
They do have attacking spells, but not a lot.
No, sorry, like so if your enemy is trying to attack you, you use a spell slot to
Yes.
get it to attack someone else
So
instead of you.
you have
Like
like
diverting
trickery
the attack.
spells. Like a lot of their spells lean towards illusions and trickery
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff because their main goal is to not get hit.
Yeah,
They're there
right.
to help.
Yeah.
If, like I said, with the dex modifiers and having those like things like short swords and rapiers that have the finesse weapons, they can use their
finesse
dex
trait, yeah.
strength. So yes, they can get out of a situation if it arises, but they're not at the front of the party taking all the heat.
Gotcha.
They're at the back using spells to help the party, but also to deter enemies.
How would you, because they go off the same spell slot system as most wizards and magic users,
Their magic, yep.
how would you fill the turns that you're not really doing anything? Because like I'd imagine that if you're not healing someone and you're not really attacking someone and you've used all your spell slots up,
You've still got bardic inspiration.
but doesn't that take a spell slot? Or you only
No,
have so
no,
many?
No, you have a certain amount. So
Okay.
right at the beginning, you have, they gain a 1. So inspire others 2 words, song and music. Choose 1 creature within 60 feet that can hear you to get a 1d6 inspiration dice. The creature can roll this dice to add a number to blah, 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 blah. That's it though. You have 1 at the beginning. That changes as you level up. You can then regain the dice back after a long rest because at the very beginning, you have 1 use of it.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying is like once you use Bardic Inspiration, you've used all your spell slots. This is like early levels, and you're not attacking someone. How are you feeling your turns?
You'd probably still fight.
You just
You'd probably still fight, but you're not throwing all your spells out in one go. Like the game that we had last night. So we had our D&D session where Doug DMs on Tuesday nights. You pre-warned us that it's going to be a heavy fighting thing.
Yes.
I'm not going to spend all my spell slots immediately, and it's the same with bards. So they're probably looting and they're checking for things because remember they have jack of all trades at higher levels,
Right.
so they've got better chances at succeeding in certain roles.
So like there
So
would
they're
be
doing
disarming traps
Disarming
and
traps
gotcha.
and investigating things and climbing up walls, like getting people ready, probably casting rituals. I think they can cast rituals. I didn't really check. But yeah,
right.
that's like a classic bard. They're not going to be at the front line doing other things. So when our friends Jack and Dash were fighting, I was attempting to disarm traps. I didn't do a very good job, but I got hit by one.
You ran right into one.
I ran right into it. I was
Like-
like, I'm going to walk right up. And you're like, are you sure? I'm like, yes. And I got hit by fireball.
Like that meme that we put up on our Instagram at Rocket Tabletop, which was, how do you open the door normally? It's like, so you have chosen death. Like,
Yes.
that's like you.
Basically me. I'm going to walk up to this statue. Are you sure? Because all the other statues have had stuff attached to them. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to.
Yeah,
So
that's so funny.
That's a thing. You get Song of Rest. So at second level, you can help. You can play music to your companions during a short rest. During a short rest, if the players choose to expend a weapon of their hit dice, they get an additional d6.
Gotcha.
So instead of having to expend 3 dice to get, let's say, those 3d6s,
Yep.
whatever, they get to only have to do 2 and then an additional 2d6s on top of that.
Right.
So that's something as well. You get expertise at third level. So choose 2 skills that you are proficient in and then double it.
Right.
So that's what I was talking to about our friend Safira. That's why she's got like plus 10 in something because she got to double her proficiency.
But she can only get to +5.
I'm going to smack you in a minute. I swear to God. Normal ability score improvement. Font of Inspiration, you get all your Bardic Inspiration dice after a short rest at level 5. Long rest, Counter Charm, Magic Secrets, and Superior Inspiration are classic plain things in that. There's a lot of colleges.
Yeah, so normally we write a paragraph at the start just so I can read it and then determine what each one does. But you wrote this week's script and you didn't put a description of what each college does.
I did what you get at certain levels
so
per one.
I'm gonna take a seat back while you don't read it, but you tell me what each college does.
I mean, you could always read the player's handbook that we have handy in front of us. Here, let me take off the excess number of minis that we have for a minute, and you can read through while I tell everyone.
I've got it loaded up here on D&D Beyond. There's no reason for you doing this.
I've taken all the minis off, so use the damn book. I mean, I will.
It's too late.
You know what? Bugger it. So first one is College of Law, which is a classic Bard college.
And what does it do? Why would you pick College of Law?
College of Law knows something about most things, collecting bits of knowledge from sources as diverse as scholarly tomes.
Scholarly. Yep, tomes, yep.
And
peasant
tales.
Yeah.
Couldn't think of that for a minute. When you join the College of Law, you gain proficiency with 3 skills of your choice.
So additional
you
3 choose.
Bonus. You just get, like I said, you get a little OP in skills.
Gotcha.
Like Bards are the ones that are like, step aside, friend. I'll do the looting and then still roll a 4.
What else? What else does it do? So I see it's got cutting words and peerless skill and additional magical secrets. Why would you pick College of Law? What is the benefit of that?
So,
like, if you were going to play like this character and it's got College of Law, why would you pick College of Law over College of Swords?
More knowledgeable.
To what?
How do I describe it? I'm going to read from it. So the loyalty of these bards lies in the pursuit of beauty and truth, not in fealty to a monarch or following the tenets of a deity. A noble who keeps such a bard as, I'm going to say herald, or advisor knows that the bard would rather be honest than politic.
Yep.
So seek the truth in justice. And if you're a bard that wants to find the hidden gems of the world, and tell beautiful stories about it, that's normally what you're going to lean into.
Yep.
I just had a line from a movie, Moulin Rouge, but that's actually a song, so I'm not going to sing that because you don't want to hear me sing.
You're right.
So with the added bonus proficiencies and then jack of all trade and then doubling proficiency bonuses, you're just super skillful. So in a party, if you had big, bulky players, having a bard in there, especially with College of Law, you have the ability to do all the loot checks and the disarming of the traps and talking to people while you've got your big, like, I'm trying to think, the koala in Weaver Bears and how he has his, like, big
security guards.
Yep. I imagine, like, one's a fighter, one's a paladin, and then one's a barbarian, and then you've got this tiny little bard at the front that can, like, sweet talk his way out of situations.
Yeah, right.
And College of Law is a really good way to do that.
Okay.
College of Valor is a little bit different.
So I can see here that it's a lot more like combat related.
Yeah. So you know how in the College of Law you gain 3 skills of your choice? In the College of Valor, you gain proficiency with medium armor, shields, and martial weapons.
Yeah.
So you have more weapons and shields and armor to play with.
So you would choose a College of Valor to be if you needed to fill the role of doing damage. Yeah.
If you wanted to step in front a little bit more.
So they get like the extra attack, battle magic, and
combat, inspiration, and battle music, and that kind of stuff. Cool. So it's more fighting versus knowledge.
Yes.
That's the main 2 that you have in the player's handbook.
Yeah, and then so there's also I'm just gonna go because I'm using D&D Beyond like an adult.
Yeah, I do too. Calm down.
We're gonna use College of Glamour, which is the one
that I chose.
So why did you pick that?
It looked funny, to be honest. That was why I chose it. So College of Glamour are the home of the bards who mastered their craft in the vibrant realm of Feywild under the... I'm not going to read that.
You shouldn't be reading.
Basically, they're more obsessed with their looks. I'm going to say a little more vain.
Yeah.
Because most of their extra features and stuff like that is You get to expend one of your bardic inspiration to grant yourself a wondrous appearance. When you do so, choose the number of creatures that can see you within 60 feet. Each of them gain 5 temporary hit points. So they're just amazed by how beautiful you look.
So if your character was very vain,
wow.
you would do
Play
the
with
College of Glamour.
There's another one as well where it's like if you can inspire them with your singing, and they gain. Oh, where is it? Okay, so they can be charmed by your singing.
Right.
So you can distract some monsters or humanoids or bandits or whoever by your beautiful voice of singing. So I remember when I played Gertrude,
which was your bard?
Which was my bard.
Yes.
He was a horrible singer and he played the bagpipes because it was the most obnoxious instrument I could think of.
Yeah.
But because I got to play them anyway, the monsters and bandits would get interested in me and my players could go in and attack while they were like charmed by me, which allows like a bunch of other things as well. I think we killed him off before I could get in any higher level. So glamour, it has it in the word, is more
vain.
Yeah. Is the funny aspect
So yeah,
of
and
it.
then you've got College of Swords, which now that I'm kind of reading it, because I didn't get a description to help me out with how this goes.
You get bonuses.
You just get a lot more like, I imagine this as a very
Dexy,
vibrant, like musketeer character.
Yes,
so like
absolutely.
you're one that teases a person, but you also like to do. What am I trying to say? Like you're very flamboyant with how your fighting stances are. So not only do you strike hard, but you have to have the last word every time you do an attack, or
you get fighting style as well, which is seen through lots of different ones. So rangers have them, paladins have them,
and fighters have them.
Fighting styles where you get proficiencies in extra things.
So it's a lot more to do with like the fighting and the flamboyancy of fighting.
Yeah, instead of
with
staying
single-handed
back,
weapons,
you can go up into the battle and still fight in College of Swords. So yeah, if you're playing a bard that doesn't want to stand back, you can still go in there with College of Swords. College of Whispers, like I talked earlier, are a little more nasty, but I kind of love that. So Psychic Blades, when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can spend one of your bardic inspiration to deal an extra 2d6 psychic damage to that target. And the idea is that you're using your words. You're attacking with a weapon that's magically toxic to their mind.
Right.
So you're hitting them.
So pretty much they're Australian. They're Australian people to retail workers.
You got Words of Terror as well. So you speak to a humanoid for 1 minute. You attempt to seed paranoia in the mind. At the end of the conversation, the target must seed a wisdom saving throw or be frightened, which is pretty cool. So a little more vicious is Bard of Whispers. College of Whispers. Yeah. But you could lean into it and really have some fun with that one. Because you're missing, because it's a expansion, it's in Xanathars. It is a little bit weaker than your classic Valor or Law.
Yeah.
But if you're a great role player,
you could definitely do it.
You could definitely have fun with that, because I'm sure that would be a lot of fun.
And the lucky last one, which is actually an Unearthed Arcanist. It's not actually out yet, so it's in the beta right now. College of Eloquence, which if you want to read up on it, it is available. There's a PDF on the Wizards of the Coast website. We won't get into it just because it's not 100% out yet.
It hasn't been debugged and everything as well.
So we're gonna actually wrap this up soon, just to give you guys a heads up as well. We do have a built character that we've been working on. So we did Kentor the Centaur for the Barbarian. We've actually got Alan Adale, which is the character from Robin Hood.
Based off Robin Hood.
Yeah, so it's a level 5 Aarakocra. Which we're gonna make it look like a chicken, pretty much.
Hey, chicken boy.
I'll put a link out on our Twitter account, so if you want to look at that. But just real quickly, because our cameras, I think it's about to die, so we've got no battery left. We're just gonna do a quick shout out to some of the other people that contributed to our Twitter. So just assume that these are all the ats. So we've got Ann Whitford, Rachel Maduro Art, Awful D&D, Mediocre Bard,
_Bud, Miss Charlie HB, JM Campbell,
Little _Barnaby, Natsuratsu, Reaper _Actual,
Esif Chico, I got no idea, Caster _Die, Matt HR,
Ms. Betsy H, OMG Butterbee, and Zhao Hershey.
Proper Pervert, Dusty Hill, Starter Set Show.
Clementine, PRWR, Karen Megal, and Theo Poldy.
JPL_reader, Hands of Darkness, All the Bard.
And that's everyone.
Bob_Francis.
Which we did shout out before.
Yes.
So if
Thank you for you guys so much.
If we forgot to put you in, just hit us up. We're going to tag you guys all in our Twitter as well. So yeah, if you wanted to look at Alan Adale, the character, it is on our D&D Beyond account. We do recommend saving it because we're going to be recycling those slots that we get. Other than that, we'll catch you guys next week.
Thanks guys for tuning in. We'll see you back next week.
Which will either be a cleric episode or just a different episode.
We'll try something different. Yeah. Let us know what you think. If you have any suggestions, hit us up on our social medias at Rocket Tabletop on everything.
Yes.
We've got nearly everything on there. If you like memes, we got some of those too.
All right. Take it easy. Have a good week.
Bye.